Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of what might become a recurring series. Probably will because I really do enjoy this game. Um, me playing Bonfire. This is a game in alpha funding stage, which is, if you're unfamiliar with it, where they've released the alpha to purchase at $7.95. With each major update the price is going to work closer to its final price of $15.95. And it will be um, it'll be released at that point as the final game, but purchasing currently gets you access to the full alpha build of the game, and you can play through. From what I understand and from what my experience has been, this is very polished for an alpha. I have run into no bugs personally, and the creator himself even says that this is a game that could probably be released quite decently soon without major problems. But just keep in mind if we do run into any huge bugs or anything like that, this is an alpha version of the game, and that's a big part of the reason why things aren't. And that would be a big part of the reason why things are going the way they are. Now, I did want to start a fresh game. One thing that I've noticed is there is actually no delete save button in the options here, and I don't see it down here either. So I was unable to actually start up a fresh game. So we're gonna continue where I left off. I actually tried to record this once before due to my own stupid mistake. It didn't save. So this is a little bit farther than that first video, but essentially when you're at the bonfire here, which is also serving as the main menu, you can click on a character to read the different information on them, as well as to see their stats. These stats can be upgraded with the coins that you earn while going through the different levels, and those will enable you to become stronger and survive the higher difficulty areas that are added in as you go on. This video is also going to be a test of sorts, since it's during the night when me and my girlfriend are chatting. I am going to be occasionally stepping away from the recording to respond to her, and then I will be editing out those little breaks throughout the video. I do realize this might make things choppy, but I feel like I could increase my content output if I could do this. But I want to get you guys' feedback on if this is something that'll work out, or if you think this is something that is just, well, too distracting and too low quality to keep up. In which case I would go back to assuming that I could have at least 3 videos a week. So as you can see here, my monk, I've raised his attack mostly. His piercing strike is actually really good for taking out the one boss I've encountered so far. Special will handle their special abilities. Of those you have 2. The healing that you see here is to heal an ally and shorten debuffs. That's if you use it on one of the other 2 characters in the party. If you use his ability on himself, it makes him untargetable for I believe 2 turns and raises his special. Which means while it's active, you would heal for more points than when it's not. So it's kind of an interesting mechanic in that you can select your own party member or yourself or an enemy and do 3 different things. As the developer puts it, it's a boiled down version of an RPG combat mechanism spruced into a very challenging, almost pseudo-roguelike adventure. Over here we can purchase different items that are going to increase stats, and purchase slots to bring them into the items and into the start of an adventure. As you can see, this costs a decent amount of gold, something that I don't have right now, but I can see that becoming a very big thing as you get more gold going on. You can also select your heroes. I have 3 main ones that I've been using and 1 extra unlocked. This is one that focuses on fire magic. I haven't used her very much yet. I probably will, with this series continuing, try to experiment with all the characters. But for right now, I'm going to stick to the ones I'm familiar with and who are upgraded with the monk, the knight, and the mage. So let's jump in here right into Short Journey. It's the first set of levels that you come through after the tutorial. So you're going to start off and you're going to run into either a chest or an enemy. When you get a chest, you can open it up. You're going to get some item that is either going to boost your stats, give you an active ability, or I believe you can get gold out of them. Then the enemies are going to get their turn. Now with this guy, if you click on him, he's going to charge up. The more you do that, the more orbs he's going to have circling him. And then when you attack, all that orb, one orb plus whatever you have circling is going to attack the enemy. So you can build up for a lot of damage or attack quickly for less. These enemies are relatively weak for being early in the game, and so they're taken out easily. Over here we got the character's health bar, where it says max health 100 out of 100. As you go through, if you have longer lasting injuries, your max health is going to go down. So if you've been hurt a lot repeatedly, you might have max health 34 out of 100, in which case no amount of healing except for these restoration potions is going to actually get you back up toward 100. You would be able to heal yourself or an ally at most to the max health they have available. You have your character level, experience. The experience, when you hit full level, it does full heal you, which gives you the ability to obviously save yourself from some bad situations if you get a decent chance. As you can see, we heal up a little bit between each fight. Usually if you don't heal up all the way, you're going to start losing your maximum health. These skeletons can be pretty strong, so I'm going to jump on attacking them pretty quick. This guy I'll have charge up. And this does seem pretty simple when you're just watching it at first glance, but as you'll see when we get into... I want to play through at least one of the challenges to show that off. And as you can see during that, the game does ramp up in difficulty a lot. And without good strategy both in upgrading your characters and in the way that you fight, it does become something that's very difficult to master from what I've seen. So we're going to keep going here. Another chest will pop up and we're going to get a stone tablet. This is going to give 300 XP to whoever uses it. So the best way that I found to use them is once the characters are below 300 experience to the next level, you can essentially use it as a full heal and level up to try to create to try to better your situation. This one I'm not really sure which of these characters is the most threatening against me. It might be this guy here who has 71 attack, but this guy has an attacks the enemy and builds up rage ability, which does cause him to do more damage as time goes on and he attacks more. So I do kind of want to get him out of the way, which we have done. Now we can focus on this guy, the Goblin Knight. As you can see, if you look over here, if you hold your mouse over the character, you can see their abilities, their stats, everything. Over here you can see their health. You can see what abilities they've got active, what buffs and debuffs they've got active on them. As I mentioned slightly in the title screen, as you can see, if I click on him, if I hold my mouse over him, he has an option to protect, which will cause my knight to jump in front of him with her shield and block any attack that's going at him. But if I hold it over her, I get Purge, which as you can see removes debuffs and heals the user. So it is a mechanic of you can choose whether to protect what abilities you want to use on top of your choices of how to handle the different on top of your choices of attacking. So your special is actually very much differentiated depending on how you use it. I am going to use a restoration potion on him, which is going to bring him back to 100 max health, but only up to 73 health total. And this guy should go down on my next attack, which will be there. And now we've got this one to worry about. I do have an orb charged up, so I'm going to pound her with that. Hit her. My knight is very low on health. That does kind of worry me. But if my monk's not going to get another attack. So, as you can see when we move on to the next screen, they get healed up some. But their max health does not go up. That's going to stay steady no matter what happens. Amulet of Power, that's very useful. That's going to raise the special for the side quest, for the quest. So we're going to use that actually on our mage up here. We're going to heal our knight, because this is turning into a bad situation. But for now I want to charge him up. And then we're once again going to go after this guy who's got his Bloodlust ability. Try to get him out of the equation as quick as possible. My knight, if I can get another turn with her, which I can't unfortunately, she will revive at the end of this turn, assuming we survive. but with lower maximum health. And obviously, until then, we've got to survive with just these two. I'm going to blow this stone tablet on him to full heal. The monk is my strongest attacker at the moment. And that skeleton archer is dead, and that levels up the mage. So that gives me 2 people at full health. And now we just have this one little skeleton knight to take care of. Oh, skeleton warrior, I'm sorry. I should get my terms right while I'm talking about a game that I'm trying to show off and make people aware of. So my thoughts on this game as a whole have been that it is very much worth the purchase. It's been extremely fun. It has been definitely the kind of game that I can get into. I'm still trying to learn about exactly how this works. But, oh man. We're at the dragon. We don't have any healing. That's not good. I am going to just start pounding the dragon. That's about all we can do. In this, the dragon has a lot of armor, and the monk hits through armor. So I do tend to try to boost him up and use him as much as possible. The more that I can hit the dragon before anyone goes down, the better. It is going to get the next attack. We might die on this run. The last time that I tried to record this video, I actually did manage to beat this boss. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off this time, because I had some better items available. The dragon can heal himself. I actually forgot about that. We are going to charge with this mage. Protect. I think I can survive one more hit with him, and I'm going to heal my knight. And we are going to hit him with that. Yeah, we're going to die this round. I'll almost guarantee it. That should give us an extra time to attack. I know I didn't use the amulets, but since I was already on the boss, I was kind of worried that doing so would end up causing me to die. And oh man, with just the knight left versus the dragon, this is not going to end well. We're going to be done here very soon. And there we go. One thing that I didn't bring up during that was that as you hit or do any kind of action, you gain experience. It doesn't have to be killing a monster. So in that sense, you can level up by just completing actions over and over. So against the boss, you can still gain experience and can still level, even though you aren't actively killing it. So at the end of each round, we're going to get a different bonus. Number of areas cleared times 3. Obviously for the longer journeys, this bonus is going to grow a lot. Monsters killed times 2. Items used times 4. Which is kind of nice. It actually encourages the use of items instead of discouraging it like a lot of games. Because I feel like the items play a huge part in making this game what it is. And making it to have it where you actually have a chance of survival. So to incentivize them instead of disincentivize them is huge. The victory bonus, if you beat the final boss, you end up getting a low bonus. I believe for this level it's 50, and that will give you, obviously, more gold. So that's going to go up there. We won't have very much to work with here. When you kill the boss, you get a whole lot of gold that goes toward upgrades. So once you're back at the bonfire, that gold becomes your way to upgrade characters. Last time I focused on raising armor. I'm going to raise this guy's attack a bit. And his... or what else do I have? We're going to raise up the knight's special, because I believe that it will increase the strength of the protect ability. And we might as well boost his speed up. He's already pretty quick, but we can make him quicker. So to finish this video out, I'm not going to move on to medium journey or do another short journey. I also want to show off these challenges where things are much more difficult. So let's jump into this right here. The system of upgrading between levels is really useful. It causes that even if you're struggling to get by, you can at least be making progress toward making yourself better. I'd liken it to the way that 10 million worked, where as you go through, you're getting stronger and becoming more and more capable of handling the problems dealt to you. So, this place is ridden with undead. Let's try to clear it out. Doesn't seem like they want us here. You better hide behind my shield. So these archers are kind of a pain. They actually do quite a lot of damage. It's a very hard way to start to go out against 3 of them. We're going to have him charge up because he can probably finish off one of these archers the first turn. Yeah. And see, they're pounding. The AI is actually pretty good. It does a lot of times focus on one enemy. But I have also noticed there are some times when when an ally is almost dead, and the AI will suddenly start to target a different character, which seems kind of weird. Why not go for the killing blow instead of taking your time to go after a character who is presumably less of a threat to you, or who is going to be a threat to you whether you attack them or not, I should say. So we're going to get a chest here. This is an Ankh of Life. This works as you would expect it to. Once a character is knocked out, you can use that. It's going to bring them back. The Ghost is kind of a pain. It can attack, and it can slow down itself to damage the enemies through armor, or it can greatly delay your action, which essentially is a slow. So we're going to try to take him out first, even though he'll probably do less damage as a whole. Want him to charge. Strike that. My knight's getting low on health, so is my mage actually. This is starting out very terribly. But we did get the ghost out of there. We do have the Ankh of Life. But my monk was confused for a while. We're going to use a restoration potion on him. He'll use the Ankh of Life to bring back the knight. The knight is going to attack this here archer. I'm not actually sure which of the two is more threatening, but I feel like the archer does on average more damage than the swordsman. So that's out of the picture. We can take care of that. He didn't target. See, that's what I'm talking about occasionally. If he had hit my knight with 11 health, the knight would have been dead. But instead he targeted the mage, who was going to survive through it. So sometimes the AI does feel a little bit iffy, and I'm sure that's something that should be worked on for the final game, and probably is being worked on. But target selection can sometimes be a bit odd. It doesn't necessarily make the game easy. Believe me, the game is still very difficult. But it is something that kind of... it could be harder if the enemy AI was just a little bit better. The hourglass we've seen is going to give us more time to act. In other words, speed us up a bit. This one is going to be against these ghosts. So I'm again going to try to take them out first, because their confusion, the fact that they can make someone unable to attack, is a huge negative. Like none other in the game almost. Like right now, the only one who could attack was my mage. Now no one can. Finally my monk is able to attack once. And he's dead now, and I still can't attack with my mage. So you see, when these effects start to stack, when they get enemies that have those kind of status effects on them, you can really get knocked out very quickly. It is something I really like about the game, actually. It gives a challenge in a game that otherwise, you know, if it weren't for things like that, you could just fly through the game, upgrading your stats and not using any strategy. With that, you do have to focus on things like what's going to be putting status effects on me, how do I get rid of them quickest, stuff like that. So I am going to give one more shot to running through this short journey. We have 164 gold. I'm going to increase the knight's speed a little bit. Now, in terms of the music, I actually am really enjoying it. This title screen music and everything, if I pause for a second so my voice doesn't overwhelm it. Is a very nice, just little... it's not an intrusive piece, it's not jumping at your ear, but it keeps the tone of things very well. I feel like I do enjoy the music and the sound effects of the game quite a bit. The game looks quite good. I mean, obviously it's not pushing graphics barriers, but the art style that was chosen is very good, and it has hit very well with this art with this game. This bomb here is going to target a random enemy and do damage to them. That's going to make it's going to give us the ability to, in situations, especially against the bosses, is where I normally try to use them, because you obviously have one enemy you're up against, not several. But even in situations where you have multiple, to take out one of them quick with a bomb is huge. Frozen Flame is like a magic. You're going to burn everyone with flame. This guy over here, the Wild Goblin, has an ability where he builds up rage as he attacks, which allows him to do more and more damage. And I believe it also accounts for that all rage and a damaging scream. I'm not actually sure what that ability does, but I believe it is pretty powerful. The Goblin Slave up here can strike the opponent or protect an ally with shield. So presumably if we try to attack this guy first, he's just going to jump up in the way and block us. So we might as well take him out first because we're going to have to anyway. You know, when you begin to focus on little things like this, the abilities of the enemies and stuff like that, and you recognize those things, it does become very different in the way that you approach things. So this is going to take some damage this round, not nearly as much as it could have been, but still it's enough where it's kind of not a good sign. So we're going to move on to the next area here, get another chest. I do believe chests become less common in the longer journeys, but in terms of the short one here, you do get quite a few. I've never actually seen this giant eyeball thing. Acquires a target and lowers their armor. Attacks all targeted enemies with a deadly beam. So it seems like it's going to target us to lower our armor, and then target itself to attack us with a beam while our armor is down. That means that this guy needs to be priority because he might be able to do a lot of damage. As you can see, he's got one of us targeted already. And we're going to blast him with this double blast, take him out with the monk. And we did manage to take him down before his beam came out. That seems, with the amount of gold it just dropped, almost like that was a mini boss, because most enemies don't drop that much gold. I probably could have charged him up there, but at the same time it seemed like I could take him out quicker by not. So now we're moving on, another chest. Diamond Hourglass. Maybe we can use it against the boss if we get that far. This is actually a series of enemies I don't know. Shoots an arrow that applies burning. Shoots an arrow at any attacking enemies. That's kind of annoying, both of them. He can protect with the shield. This guy attacks and passes debuffs to the enemy. Transfers debuffs from allies to the user. That is a horrible, horrible ability. So we're going to focus on this guy who's going to be shielding first, so we can take out other enemies as we see fit. We're going to try to see which one of these is going to do the most damage while we attack this one. It seems like it's going to be that crossbowman, so we want to take him out as quick as possible. And I just got burnt. That's not good. This is not very effective against the dragon, so I'm going to toss this down here. We're going to charge up with him. Attack this crossbowman. My monk is going to die there. That's not good. We will use the Ankh of Life to get him back immediately. Although they come back after each combat round, the Ankh is actually very useful in terms of getting them back so that you can have them to handle things. Once again, you see the AI attack the monk who had a decent portion of health left instead of the mage here who only had 10. So it is beneficial to the player. I don't feel like it makes the game easy or breaks the game in terms of difficulty, but I do feel like it could be done a little bit differently and handled a bit better. So here we are back at the dragon. I'm going to use this restoration potion with my monk, a restoration potion with the mage, and the knight is going to use a bomb. That did almost nothing. I wish I had known that was going to do so little damage ahead of time. We're going to be using boost on the monk here a lot this time. That's going to raise his stats up. I should have shielded with my with my knight before that attack of his. Boost him, shield. and attack. So as you can see, this becomes kind of difficult. I mean, the boss isn't the craziest difficulty boss I've ever seen in a game, but it's definitely hard enough where it is an accomplishment to beat it. If I could have just gotten one more attack with the monk, we would have had a level up and been able to beat that boss. Well, maybe not been able to beat it, but we would have definitely been able to take it down a little bit further before we died. So we got, 9 areas cleared, 8 monsters killed, 5 items used, so 93 extra gold. So that's going to conclude this video. Like I said, this is Bonfire. It is developed by Moa Cube. It is available on their website for the alpha funding. I will post a link to that page in the video description. I am really enjoying my time with this game so far. It has been it has been fun, not in the way of maybe, an action platformer or something, but in the way of, like was said, RPG that's been watered down to its most basic. It is very much strategic. It is something where you have to think before you move. For example, if I had saved that Ankh of Life, I might have been able to pull something off against the dragon, but I used it to bring my guy back right away. And you can make arguments that either one of those were the better decision. But the strategy level that it requires is kind of nice. I do want to continue coverage on this game, both as I try to journey through to completion, and as new updates come that are going to introduce new features, new content. For now, though, please let me know in the comments both what you think of this editing sequence that I've been putting into place in this video, so I know if I can continue to do this kind of video where I'm editing out times when I have to look away and have more content, or if it's better to have less without the edits. Any kind of support in the way of subscriptions or likes, or just comments telling me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, any advice you can give me, anything would be very much appreciated. I'll try to respond to as many comments as I can. For now, I'm going to be going out of here and try to edit this video up. And yeah, hopefully you are all having wonderful days, nights, whatever time it may be while you're watching this. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you the next time around. Bye, everyone.